Chapter 5 of the Tale of Daddy Longlegs. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. This reading by Lucy Burgoyne. The Tale of Daddy Longlegs by Arthur Scott Bailey. Chapter 5. Too Many Questions. "This is strange!" old Mr. Crow exclaimed, looking very hard at Daddy Longlegs. "You heard the first question easily enough, but now you seem deaf as a post." And all the time Daddy Longlegs merely smiled at Mr. Crow. He made no comment at all. "Don't you know what I'm saying?" Mr. Crow bawled in his loudest tones. "It is a pleasant day," said Daddy Longlegs, "but I'm afraid there's going to be a heavy gale to morrow." "This is certainly peculiar," Mr. Crow grumbled. And then little Mr. Chippy hastened to explain that Daddy Longlegs was often like that. He would appear to hear you perfectly one moment, and then, if you happened to ask him his age, or where he came from, you might find him unable to understand a single word that you said. "It's most unfortunate," said old Mr. Crow. "I see nothing to do but reply to the question myself, and then my cousin, Jasper Jay, will decide which has given the better answer, Daddy Longlegs or I." "Ah, but you can't do that!" cried Daddy Longlegs suddenly. "Jasper Jay said you were not to answer this question until after I had. And you know you mustn't break the rules of the contest." Old Mr. Crow's mouth fell open, he was so astonished. "Why, he can hear again!" he exclaimed. And after staring at Daddy Longlegs for a while, he beckoned to Jasper Jay. And again the two cousins moved a little distance away and began whispering. When they returned both were smiling broadly. And mounting the stone wall once more, Jasper said that he would put another question to Daddy and Mr. Crow, and that they must both answer it at the same time. Then he cautioned Daddy Longlegs to speak up good and loud, because Mr. Crow had a strong voice. "I'd suggest," said Daddy Longlegs, "I'd suggest that Mr. Crow speak as softly as possible, because my voice is weak." "That's only fair," all the company agreed, nodding their heads to one another. But Mr. Crow appeared peevish. "Everybody's against me," he grumbled. "I almost believe," he said, turning to his cousin, "I almost believe they're all in league with Farmer Green." "If you are not sure, why don't you ask Farmer Green himself?" Daddy Longlegs inquired. "I will!" cried Mr. Crow in a loud voice. "I'll ask him the next time I see him." "Then you can ask him now," said Daddy Longlegs, "for here he comes, with a gun on his shoulder." The words were hardly out of Daddy's mouth when old Mr. Crow began to beat the air furiously with his broad wings. He rose quickly, but not too high, and made for the woods as fast as he could fly. "Now that's strange!" Daddy Longlegs quavered. "I don't see how he's going to talk with Farmer Green when he's half a mile away from him." And everybody else said the same thing. "He's gone off and left the contest unfinished," little Mr. Chippy observed. "So there's nothing Jasper Jay can do except to declare that Daddy Longlegs is the winner and the wisest person in Pleasant Valley." "I couldn't very well do that," Jasper objected. You're forgetting Solomon Owl." "Well, Daddy's wiser than old Mr. Crow anyhow," Mr. Chippy retorted. And since almost everybody said that was true, Jasper Jay didn't quite dare object. But it was plain that he didn't agree with the company. And he stamped his feet and clashed his bill together and shook his head, as if he were much displeased. He, too, began to believe, with his cousin, Mr. Crow, that Daddy Longlegs and all the others were on Farmer Green's side. CHAPTER 6